This is Live for Love TV. Live for Love TV. Yes, I am.
One step more. One step more. One step more. Until you reach your goals. One step more. Save them soul. One step more. One step more. How good it is to reach the
Live for Love TV. This is Live for Love TV. Live for Love TV.
Welcome, you're back here with Live for Love TV. It's the 5th day of the 6th month of the 21st year of the 21st century. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Today we're going to do that taboo subject called death. We're going to deal with a subject that everyone live long enough is going to have to deal with. We're going to deal with it from a little bit a different perspective. What we're going to say is we're going to deal with life after death. And I know when you think about life after death, I'm probably thinking that somebody dies and they go somewhere. We don't know where they are. There's a lot of belief systems about it, and we start wondering, is there something called life after death, or is it just something that we believe or something that's in our imagination? Well, as far as we know, nobody's come back to tell us what's happened after a body has passed on and can no longer breathe, no longer blood flow, no longer move. So we don't know anything about that type of life after death. So we're not going to have a conversation about that on Live for Love TV, because that would be just like an escapism to me. Because if you can't prove something, you can't discuss it, you really don't have any experience of it, or anybody can speak from an experiential place, then it's really just an escapism, another form of escapism. And the problem with escapism ideology is you can't escape. You can sit down in a corner and hum all day, you're still there. And if something comes around the corner and runs you over, whether you're meditating and claiming you're somewhere else, you'll be dead. So there's no such thing as escapism, so we don't deal with escapism subjects here. But what I'll say about life after death is the real life after death, the real life after death that we all deal with. What do I mean? I mean, if I pass away today, or you pass away today, those who have to live after your death, that's what life after death actually means to me, and it should mean to you, I think, because that's the one we can deal with. We have a life before our loved ones die, and we have a life after they die, whether it's our friends, our family, our colleagues, it doesn't matter who it is, but somebody who touches your life so much, their impact on your life is always different after that person passes away. And that's what life after death means to me. So how do we deal with this? You know, it could be the closest person you know, person you roll with, or your mother or your father, or even your child. Hopefully that will never happen to anybody listening, but it could be anybody, and you have to deal with life after death. Now, we know that the death plays no physical impact on the living once they have passed. They can't get up and walk, they can't move things around the room, and all this talk about what they can do, what they can't do, that's just talk. But we know they can't do these things. But the influence they have after on us is very important, because we have our memories and they live on, and that's why it's a life after death, and why we should be talking about this constantly, because it can happen to anyone at any given time. Not to you necessarily, because if you die you have no thoughts or nothing to contribute again, but it could happen to anybody at any given time. Somebody that they know passes away and they're left with the aftermath. And so many of us are so unprepared because we don't even want to go there. It becomes a taboo. Don't think about it and it won't happen. Well, I'm sorry to say, that's like saying don't think about the sun and it won't shine tomorrow. It's still going to happen if you live long enough. It's still going to happen. In fact, if you live long enough, let's say you live 70, 80, 90 years on this planet, there'll come a time when you know more people who are dead than who are alive. You will have more experience of people you grew up with and have passed away than those you still know as living people. So you'll be dealing with life after death constantly if you live long enough. And even young people have to deal with it. Young people's parents pass away, and they're 10, they're 12 or 11. They can tell you how life was when mum and dad was there, and they'll tell you how life was after that's life after death. Our life was for them after. So it's a subject I talk about because I know I have to deal with it. I know everybody that I know is going to have to deal with it. The more you talk about things, the more you open up to things, the more you put them around in your psyche, the more you juggle them around in your thought pattern, the more you watch other people's experiences and what it does to them, is the more chance you have of surviving it with a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of strength, and maybe learning something from it and growing from it. Because every experience in life is a growth experience. There's no need, I know we can go into a form of depression after people pass away. That's a common thing that happens to people after somebody else's death. That happens a lot. But we can't stay there too long because we're going to pass away as well. And it doesn't make any sense dying spiritually inside yourself because somebody else has died physically. Our lives are temporary in the state that we live. They are temporary things. Everything is temporary. They have a saying, this too shall pass. Well, everything you see, talking to you, me talking to you, you listening to me, that shall pass. So we try to do the best with wisdom to live the best lives we can. The lives that we know mean something to people, have an effect on them. And if we have a really positive effect on people, then when they come to that point where they have to experience our life, their life after our death, then hopefully the memories will be good and they won't go down too much and they won't feel too negative about their lives. We certainly don't want to pass away and leave our loved ones in a worse situation than they were before we left. We want them to go from strength to strength. We want them to carry on with their lives. We want them to fulfill their lives. And remember that if you believe in destiny, we all have, some of us will say, yes, we all have a destiny. Some are going to live longer, some are going to live shorter, but we have effects on one another's lives. And so I'm just going to wrap up here on what I call life after death, something that you will experience if you live long enough. I've already experienced it, and we're going to experience it again and again and again until it's our time to pass through that gate. Live for Love TV. Take care. Look after yourself.
People, one step more.